the other part is autism does not have a look. I've had a couple things. I've had somebody once tell me, well, she doesn't look autistic. Well, what does autism look like? Waiting. Anybody? You may have things like they may not wear jeans. They might, a lot of people like to wear soft sweatpants, but that doesn't mean that that's what the autism look is, because a lot of them I do know wear jeans. One of the places I buy my clothes from, who is my favorite clothing brand of all times, the fashion designer actually has Asperger's. So there you go. She's an amazing clothing designer. So there is no look to autism, and I think that adds an issue sometimes because people don't know how to react with it, where some special needs do have looks. You can see a person sometimes that has a look that looks totally different than you and I, or smaller eyes, or in a wheelchair, or things like that. But with autism, there is no look to it. They might, if they're severe enough, sometimes I guess they can have a look, but that doesn't mean that's just because it's from autism. I could put all of Azrael's classmates in front of this camera, which I can't, but I wish I could, and show you. She has 2 kids in her class out of 11 that do not have autism. One has Down syndrome and one has ODD. The rest are all on the spectrum. And you know what? Not one of them is the same. It's like us. And I think it goes for any special needs. But there aren't really... The only thing that's different is they are a little bit quirky. All of them. Some are nonverbal. Some are very verbal, like Azriela. So... how it's diagnosed, sometimes it makes me wonder. Sometimes you hear so many, and I will be one who have said it has become the next junk term. Like, oh yeah, you have autism. But I don't really believe it because it is a pain to get diagnosed. It took my family pushing me, and she went and got tested twice. The first time she was tested for autism, she was diagnosed with anxiety disorder and pica. She had a high vocabulary skill. She couldn't talk in full sentences, but she knew everything, every letter. I've read her baby book, and it's amazing to know all the words she knew. She just couldn't put it all in a whole bunch of sentences that was age appropriate on top of behaviors because of her anxiety. And then, so we went through that, and everybody said she was fine. And then my mom and my brother and my sister, everybody kept pushing. Like, there's something quite not right. And my mom called my daughter, Rella's pediatrician, who was mine growing up, so she knew him really well. And she said, Paul, something is wrong. You need to get him, something's with Rella. You need to get her tested. And when I went in, he said, she's quirky. That's all. She's just quirky. She crawled at 11 and a half months, which was late, but she walked on time. She was 13 months when she first took her first step. So he just didn't see it because she had so many amazing skills, but not enough. He did say she was quirky, though, so he had her tested, and when she went to the specialist pediatrician, they were like, oh, yeah, something's not right, let's get her tested, and that's when she was diagnosed with PDD-NOS, which is now considered autism. But back then, it was pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, which means she did not meet all the requirements to be autistic. She would have been Asperger's back then if she would have had the verbal skills, but she didn't. She had a high IQ when she was tested, but then when she got tested by the school a year later, she didn't have the same high IQ score. I don't understand at all. And then, yeah, she started preschool, and as soon as she started preschool, she bloomed, and yeah. I mean, I can go on and on and on, and I might give you some stories about autism to prepare you for, in case you run into it, and the worst case scenarios, because it's not always that bad. Sometimes it's just quirky, but sometimes you do run into the moments where it is full out screaming, hitting, telling old people they're stupid, telling people their babies are stupid, attacking a baby because you thought the baby was hurting your sibling. Just naming a few. I go on and on. But this video, this first one, I just wanted to throw out some of the looks and some of the, some of the things that would diagnose somebody with autism. Yes, I hear it all the time. I do want to add this in. People always say, well, I must be autistic. You know, I get it, and it is funny sometimes. Sometimes it gets old because, no, it's not true. Yes, we all have a bit of autism in us. We all have a little bit of everything in us. It's true. Every single one of us does. But there are differences, and if we can't accept and understand and care to understand somebody's struggle, then it's not going to help another person. Just like I'm not going to, deal with dyslexia. Yes, we all don't know our left and our right, but when I actually write, I flip my words backwards and I struggle to read. I can read, but I have to work really hard at it. I'm not going to say, well, I'm a little bit in a wheelchair. You know, it's not. Yes, we all have these little quirks to us in our lives, and we all deal with little things, but these diagnoses are not a label. It is not a can. It is not a label. It is a diagnosis. You're not going to tell somebody that has cancer they have a label. It's not a label. Is it a diagnosis that without it, we can't help one another? We can't help progress the person's life. I mean, I guess that Z has a label with a heart condition because, just label, but it's not. Without the correct doctors, without the correct understanding and knowledge, he could be dead. Hey, it does take a diagnosis to help people progress in life, and that's all it is. So next time you want to say, oh, I hate labels, I hate my kid being labeled, I hate myself being labeled, don't think of it as a bad thing. A diagnosis is something that can help you with your life to be enhanced for the better, because there's so many studies out there to help with it. I hope that helps. Again, any questions? Please, please, please don't be afraid to ask me. I'm pretty open, pretty understanding. Not going to get my feelings hurt. I've been through quite a bit. All right, thanks for listening. Sorry it was so long. Goodbye.